important thing, and the idea with this building was to create a village-like community where you know your neighbors, where you have the security of having relations, some social capital if you wish, in an urban setting where people often live isolated and loneliness is.
You have your own house and your own kitchen and everything you have in a normal house, but you share many things together as well. The things you like to share and which are good to share, because then it saves you money and time and gives you a lot of pleasure.
Then I think the idea was to live close together, have a lot of things together. There was no political idea behind it or economical idea. The only economical influence was that it should be possible for rich people and poor people to live.
The co-housing idea in the Netherlands started with a woman. She was divorced, had 2 children and a job. And she wrote an advertisement saying something like, who would like to share with me some things and make my life a little bit easier. I'm alone with 2 children and I would like to live together and have my own part, but also in a sort of big house, things we can share, like healthcare, taking care of the children, celebration room, a garden, having dinner sometimes, but still be also on my own.
You can do everything as you can in a standard house, but you have all these other possibilities. That's very good.
Rooms for use for everybody. So this one is for eating. Upstairs there's a room as big as this for the children. Downstairs there's a place with washing machines. And on the other side there's a bar, a dance floor. It's an empty room with a floor where you can dance or meditate or have yoga or that sort of thing. That's rented also by people from outside. And there upstairs there's a hobby room. There are all sort of tools and wood, and everybody can make use of that too.
Another thing which me and my girlfriend is a part of, which I find really fascinating, is a carpool.
So I think now that is it 6 or 8 cars we have, and if we hadn't these 6-8 cars where families share one car, then we should have 40 cars more.
Then most of our potatoes and carrots and the things that you can get here, we get from a organic farmer. So we don't plant an awful lot ourselves because our soil is so bad, but we help the organic farmers around because we tell them we will take so many tons per year. And it's a separate thing from Lebensgarten Association. So the people from around can also be members without having been members of the Lebensgarten.
This is the booking system for the dinners in the common house. You can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all the days of the week. The normal level is 20 kroners, and if you rise a lot above that, you have to write it. And then people, they sign up, and 2 days before the meal, the chef takes the list down and buys the stuff. Okay. And also you can see here who is going to cook for the following month. And if you have been put on and you can see, I can't make it, then you're responsible yourself for getting another to take your shift.
when you live here, you have to cook 2 times per month.
And for me, I have a full-time job. It saves me cooking sometimes. So sometimes I have to cook for the whole group, but the other times I can just relax and sit down when it's done.
But were you friends before? Like the people moving here were friends, or you?
We got friends. We have a lot of meetings in these 4 years before we moved in. We have meetings every week.
We have about 20 different groups in which you have to be in at least one of those groups. That's a must.
No single persons can take decisions about anything. It's the meeting. At the meeting we take decisions of everything.
And how do you take decisions?
By discussing until we reach an agreement, and seldom, very, very, very seldom, we can vote about things, but that's very, very
We don't want to vote about it.
So we discuss, and if we can't agree, then if some disagree, one person, one family, they're being asked, could you live with the decision? And then mostly people say yes, of course we can. We don't like it, but we can live with it. And then kind of an accept. But we are discussing things until we agree.
Will always take a period before you learn to handle these big meetings and to accept that you can't win all the time. It's so easy to run around here in a big area with no fear for traffic or cars or things like that.
At the jubilee or the anniversary which we had last fall, a whole bunch of kids that had grown up or all their childhood at this place held a big speech where they told what they thought was the best part of growing up here. And many of them talked about the corridors and how they just grabbed a mattress at home and went over to whichever friend they wanted to sleep over with.
When they went to school, they said at the school it was very characteristic for our children, the bigger children, if they saw a smaller child with a loose shoelace or with a coat unbuttoned in the winter, and not only for their own, not only for the children from here, but for children in general, for all children, so they could take the values and use them in bigger groups.
In the first years, we were many here alone with our children, and it was a great help to have other families around us. We have always people for looking after the children if we should go for a meeting or visit or something like that. It was very good.
Picking up in the kindergarten when you get home late for work, and you don't have to cook every day. You can come home and have quality time, is what they call it, with your children from 4 to 6 instead of cooking and horror hours.
You know, I must tell you about, I have had a new hip, in March. Yeah. And if I hadn't lived here, I had no one taking care of my dog. They come every day and walked out with him. Yes, I think that is very important for everybody, not to be alone. You can't live just without connection with other people.
Coming to a co-housing, then you get a new fantastic experience as an inspiration, and you develop some new sides of yourself. But it's only if you wish. If you don't wish, you don't do it. Then you just stay like this. If you want to open out and say, oh wow, I have to learn more, then you do it. That's a question of what you choose. Because if you're stiff and say, I know this, so you have to open the door.
It's not always easy, but living here is not more easy, it's more fun.
I also realized that I had prejudice. I had prejudice with regard to handicapped people.
and which I realized, and I was shocked to realize it, but I'm some of the very best friends in this house are people in wheelchairs, which to me before they were other people. I think this is an enormous game to get rid of this. I think you have to be very clear about your expectations. What do you want to obtain? And I think that this kind of co-housing, I would like to see it spread very much, because it is something that everybody could join, as a matter of fact. But it should also be made clear that it takes some investment from yourself to make it work.
We have the possibility of being together and talk together with 19 other families every day. Where do you got such a possibility?
Wake up!